Hey everybody, welcome to episode 5 of Chord Expansion. This week we're doing a continuation of what we've done in episodes 1 through 4, where we take a chord quality and we build a variety of different voicings, working our way up the scale, focusing on voicings mostly on the 4th string to the 1st string, so the top 4 strings. And this week we're going to be doing minor 7 flat 5 chords. And there's a little bit of theory that we have to go over before we get into the actual voicings, because as always, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take the scale that's most often associated with that chord, and I'm going to play the scale all the way up the 1st string, and then practice harmonizing a bunch of different chords with those, each note of the scale being on the top string. So, contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think that the most common scale that you use over minor 7 flat 5 chords is the Locrian mode. And while that is technically correct, that is one of the modes that can be used, there's one that's a little bit more common, and it's a mode out of the melodic minor scale, the 6th mode of melodic minor. It's called Locrian natural 9. So it's all the same notes as a Locrian scale, except rather than having the flat 9 at the beginning, you have a natural 9. Now, theoretically, the reason why that one is a little bit more stable sounding and you can get a little bit more out of it is because we talked about this a little bit in the Lydian episode, where we were saying Lydian is typically more common than Ionian to play over major scales, because in major, the natural 4, you have a half step above the 3rd, which creates a little bit of tension and wants to go down and resolve itself. Same thing with Locrian, right? So if you take a regular G Locrian scale, we have G, A flat, which is the flat 9, right? So that A flat is a half step above the root, which would be a chord tone, right? So that half step is going to want to go down. It's going to want to resolve itself to the G. So by making it Locrian natural 9, by changing the A flat to an A natural, now we eliminate that tension, that sound that wants to move downward and resolve itself. So the formula for Locrian natural 9 is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 8, or 1. And like I said, it's the 6th mode of melodic minor, so we're doing it in the key of G. If you prefer to think of it as B flat melodic minor starting on G, that's another way to think of it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that scale and we're going to build multiple voicings throughout that scale, with each note of the scale being on the top string. So to start out with, for G minor 7 flat 5, we want the G on top. A really, a typical one that people use is this. All you do is just think of this. Just think of like your stock G minor 7 flat 5 chord, but just take the G note on the 6th string and replace it on the E string, or on the high E string. So we have F, B flat, D flat, G. And as always, if you would like PDFs and transcriptions of all of these voicings with an additional 15 voicings not covered in this video, you can become a patron for $5 a month at patreon.com/MikeAudetteMusic. So we have this one. Now, if we want to modify this is a really cool, more modern sounding voicing. I got that from Joe DiOrio, I think. So what I'm doing there is, instead of playing the flatted 3rd on this string, I raise it to the natural 4. So now it's F, C, D flat, G. Really dark sounding chord, I like that. We get that half step between the 4 and the flat 5, which is a really great sound, especially in this Locrian tonality, this Locrian natural 9 tonality. That's going to pop up a lot in a lot of these voicings. So we have 2 voicings with the root on top. Okay, so now we're going to have the natural 9 on top. So this isn't crazy common. I haven't seen very many songs that have a minor 7 flat 5 chord with the natural 9 on top, but there are some. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I have encountered a few. If you could think of one, I would love to hear about it in the comments. So now we can do something like this, right? G minor 9 flat 5 without the 3rd. So G, D flat, F, A. And then another one, if you want a little bit more of a modern sound, is take this voicing we did before and just keep all of the bottom notes the same, but put the G note up to A, and we get this really cool, really eerie sound. And against G, it sounds like, right? Definitely more of a dissonant kind of modern sound, but it's great. It works great over minor 7 flat 5 chords. So F, C, D flat, and A. Right? So we have that half step between the 4 and the flat 5, and then we also have the natural 9 on top. So a lot of cool stuff going on there. Now the next one, we have B flat, or flatted 3rd on top. This is kind of the most textbook one. I'm sure a lot of you know this one. Right? Just G and then bar your middle finger across the 6th fret. D flat, F, B flat. Okay, now if we want to get a little bit more of a modern sounding one, we can replace the G, go all the way up to C on that stringing. Then we get this. We have that half step once again between the 4 and the flat 5. So it might look like a B flat minor 9 to you, right? You kind of remember how I was saying it's B flat melodic minor. So a lot of these chords will have a lot of similarities to B flat melodic minor voicings, which that's called pluralities, when you have multiple voicings that work over different tonalities, or the same voicing operating over multiple tonalities is what I should have said. So C, D flat, F, B flat. That one's great. So now we have 2 for the B flat. Now we want to go to the 11 on top of the 4, whatever you prefer to call it, which is the C note. So we can just take this voicing we started with for G minor 7 flat 5 and just put our pinky up on the C. All right, that gives us 1. Now another variation off of this that's really cool is just take the G note on the bottom and move it up to A. So you have the natural 9. I really like that a lot. So we have A, D flat, F, C. And that's actually a really cool one if you move between those two, right? The G minor 7 flat 5 and then this one. I've heard Bill Evans do that. You know, that really cool sound where you have the bottom note and the top note moving at the same time. And one other you can do for this one, it's up in this position. This one's cool. So this is, once again, minor 9 flat 5. We have the A natural in the middle. So D flat, F, A, C. Right, so now you have 3 with the 11 on top. Okay, now next we have D flat, which is our flat 5. There's not a crazy amount of options for this one, unfortunately, and actually I kind of had to break the rule and use the 5th string for one of these, but this is like the most common one. I'm sure a lot of you know this. G, F, B flat, D flat. All right, now another one, more modern one, would be this. So once again, looks just like a B flat minor major 7, right? But if we're looking at it against G, it's G minor 9 flat 5 once again. So B flat, F, A, D flat. Right, a little more dissonant. You have the major 3rd right there, and then you have a major 7 going from the B flat to the A. Now the next one, this one's an interesting one. I don't think I've ever seen a song, maybe there might be one or two that I'm not thinking of, but I've never really seen a song that uses a minor 7 flat 5 chord, and then in the melody it's the flat 6. Not typically voicing I've ever encountered in a chord melody or anything like that, but if you know of one, I would love to hear about it. But for this one, you can go like this: G, F, B flat, E flat. I guess you would call that G minor 7 or G minor 13 flat 5 with no 3rd. Not exactly sure. That's kind of one of those, there's like a gray area when it comes to chords like that. But one other voicing you could do for that would be this: D flat, G, B flat, E flat. Okay, and then the last one is our flatted 7th on top, the F note. So the kind of like the textbook one would be this: D flat, G, B flat, F. Or if you want to take the B flat, raise it to C, get the 11 in it, you have this: E flat, G, C, F. Right? Okay, so, and then after that, we're back up to the root again. So we have so you have a nice little handful of voicings now that take you through the Locrian natural 9 scale. And stuff like this is great because anytime you have a chord melody now, let's say you see G minor 7 flat 5 in a chord melody, and it has a specific color note on top, or even a chord tone, whatever it is now you have a couple of different voicings that you can choose from where you're able to harmonize every note of the scale on top. So it's great for stuff like that, and it's great for comping because it gives you this whole new little arsenal of voicings that you can choose from. And then in the next episode, I'm going to cover altered dominants, and then I will cover minor major 7s, and that's all going to culminate into another episode where I take all of these voicings and I run them through minor 2-5-1s on the top 4 strings. So yeah, that's the episode for this week. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got something out of it. And if you would like to become a patron and support the content and the channel, it's at patreon.com/MikeGaudetteMusic. And that's it. I will see you guys at the next episode. Take care.